Let's move on to something slightly lighter. Comedy Hour. Kristina Keneally, James, Daisy, whoa, diversity and inclusion. Now they're out in the western suburbs of Sydney where they have a wonderful potential Vietnamese candidate, young woman. No. They're going to get Kristina Keneally. James.
All the way from Scotland Island by way of the United States.
By boat, which qualifies her as a boat person. You get off Scotland Island only by boat, only on the Pittwater taxi. She gets the Pittwater taxi to work every day. She's a boat person like all her future constituents there in Cabramatta and elsewhere in the western suburbs. Now, Daisy, what did you make of Keneally?
Oh dear, I mean, this is such an example of how if the left didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. I mean, for goodness sake, the seat of Fowler is such a wonderfully multicultural seat. People from all parts of the world who live there, and they had this wonderful candidate. Her name's Tu Le. She's Vietnamese immigrant. She's a lawyer. She's young. She's very promising. She'd bring something really interesting to the table, and more to the point, she would really represent her electorate, and she was also the preferred pick for Chris Hayes. However, in waltzes Kristina Keneally parachuted into this safe seat for no other reason, it seems, than she is Kristina Keneally. I mean, it's incredibly disappointing for all this kind of talk of diversity and inclusion and affirmative action. Here they've got this wonderful chance to be diverse and to be inclusive and to have this wonderful, interesting candidate come into being, and no, it's Kristina Keneally. There you go. I mean, for goodness sake, it's just the most mind-blowing hypocrisy.
James, there have been some great tweets. Tell us about in a second. But first, I'll just point out that when I was saying boat people, I was just making a joke about Kristina Keneally living on Scotland Island, which you can only get to by boat. And obviously, the suburbs out in the western suburb, there are some boat people, but by no means is it exclusively boat people that we're talking about. It was simply a joke on that score. But tell us, James, about the reaction from the left.
Well, I mean, look, there's been reaction from right, there's been reaction from the left. Alex Hawke, the immigration minister, had a great shot at her. I don't know if we have the tweet here. He said, restrictions mean Kristina Keneally will be unable to travel from the beaches to introduce herself to Fowler for some time. Instead, she could circulate this memorable op-ed she wrote herself, which argues migrants hurt Australians getting jobs, inspirational for people in Fowler, I'm sure. And finding this op-ed that she wrote just last year during the pandemic, when she said, you know, with the pandemic and everything, we need to take another look at whether we need so many immigrants. Her, of course, being an immigrant herself. And Ali, on the left, went after her, said diversity, equality, and multiculturalism can't just be a trope that Labour pulls out and parades while wearing a sari and eating some kung pao chicken to make ourselves look good. So left and right, and I'll tell you what, she had a press conference yesterday, and she was just getting hammered on these questions. So interesting move by Labour, to say the least.
I think it'll backfire disastrously.
Completely.
I mean, Kristina Keneally has not exactly had a track record of winning elections.